LG just unveiled the V40 in San Francisco with 5 cameras, 3 on the back, 2 on the front. The rear cameras include wide angle 16 megapixel, normal 12 megapixel and telephoto 12 megapixel lenses. However, away from imaging and ignoring the use of an AMOLED display, the V40 bears a striking similarity to LG's earlier G7 from back in May. Except that the V40 is expected to be at least £800 here in the UK, while the G7 is now not far off half that price. And guess who never covered the G7 in May and now thinks the time is right to address this in light of the new price? Okay, here we go, the LG G7 in 15.8 seconds. It's an upgraded G6, reviewed very positively in Phone Show 307, with enough hollow space inside the back that it can resonate and on a table or desk have its speaker amplified, which is really all you need to know. Let's start with this resonant back, possibly its only real unique selling point. The speaker component down the bottom right of the G7 isn't anything special and in fact is remarkable for its lack of bass, but hold the phone in your hands while music or a YouTube video is playing and you'll instantly feel the way the glass back vibrates with the soundtrack. Now, for anyone who hated this vibration in the Samsung Galaxy S5 or Marshall London, this is an instant showstopper, but I don't mind. It kind of adds to the immersive feel of being in the soundscape. Internally, LG has allowed some free volume over the motherboard here, the idea being the speaker not only pushes out air from the bottom, it also pushes into the phone, vibrating the thinner than usual glass back. LG calls this system Boombox because you can put the phone down on a wooden or glass surface and this then vibrates in sympathy, adding genuine bass to proceedings. Here's a demo. It's an interesting idea, but it does rather rely on that physical contact, making it great for listening to podcasts or perhaps ambient music while you do something else in the room, but it's not really practical for video consumption in the hand or for any situation where you're holding the phone or have it in a mount, for example in a car, making it a little bit of a gimmick. I did some tests and the G7 on a wooden desk has about as much bass as my Galaxy S9 Plus shooting this with its Dolby Atmos turned on, which is good. But the S9 can put out this fidelity anywhere, anytime. The G7 needs a big and hard surface. Moreover, this is a glass phone front and back, so you have to keep it in a TPU or similar case, immediately putting a flexible and shock-absorbing layer between that resonant back and your hard surface, which gets in the way of some of the bass transmission. Some boombox sound does make it through, but the effect is lessened. Away from the boombox gimmick though, and I'm going to keep this in the case just in case, this is a very solid smartphone in terms of hardware. A Snapdragon 845 with 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage plus microSD, a QHD plus display at 564 ppi. That's insane. It's LCD technology, and despite the packaging proclaiming a quote super bright display, I kind of found it dimmer outdoors than my other phones, making it hard taking photos at arty oblique angles. Not impossible, but hard. Yes, there's a notch, but LG does give you the option to black out the, and I quote, new second screen, as part of the setup process using a black background with white status information. So it's all good, in theory. Unfortunately, many Google apps don't respect this. There's clearly something very odd going on with LG's notch handling. Or just accept the ears as I ended up doing and be happy. They're really not the end of the world. Down the bottom, LG also offers the choice of having the Android navigation keys with a double tap on the little dot to remove these, though there's little point as you then need them again almost immediately in real life. Still, if you need maximum content area for say an extended Twitter session, then it's nice to have the choice. The display is 6.1 inches, which sounds like the phone should be huge, but it's really not. With the aspect ratio 19.5 to 9, the notch and the small bezels, the G7 is perhaps the perfect form factor for a phone in 2018, in my opinion. The notch doesn't intrude into media watching because of the extra wide aspect ratio, meaning that you can splay to zoom and crop to get 16:9 content to 18:9 and still not involve the notch area, which is about perfect. And having a 3.5mm audio jack, you can listen to a soundtrack or just music with no wireless losses or accessory charging worries. Just plug in and enjoy. And you will, because the G7 has the same great quad DAC as the G6. Wired listening is fantastic, even with high-end impedance headphones. Or you can go wireless if you must, and you still get great audio because aptX HD is supported. So wired or wireless, LG gives options here, and you can't go wrong. Interestingly, on the left side is an extra textured button. This is perfectly set up by default to launch the excellent and consistently improving Google Assistant with one press, and Google Lens with 2 presses. Bixby this ain't, and well done to LG, though if you did want to assign this to another application, then I can't find a way to do it on the current OS. The LG G series has been rightly famous for offering a true wide-angle lens option here at 16mm focal length, so not as wide as the 12mm on the G6, but still plenty wide enough. It's great for almost any scene when you're struggling to fit a subject in the frame. See the samples here. Both cameras are 16 megapixels, with the main lens being f/1.6 and the wide-angle f/1.9, but the results speak for themselves. The image processing is now completely under control, and I was very impressed by the results from both cameras. Focusing is lightning quick with laser autofocus and OIS to stabilise every shot. This is, I contend, the best imaging on an LG phone ever. Video capture is excellent, up to 4K with OIS again, and at lower resolution software stabilisation along with stereo high amplitude audio, top notch. LG supplies a special HD audio recorder utility with normal, concert and custom modes with loads of settings, and you can record it up to 24-bit, 192 kHz and to any amplitude. Quality is really good, and it goes to back up claims that the G7 is an audio powerhouse. The G7's IP68 certified, so top-end water and dust proofing, which is always welcome, and especially so at the current price. Now I realise I'm reviewing a phone which has been out for a couple of months already, but it's now for sale in the UK at £450-ish, SIM-free, including VAT, which is something of a steal. At that price, even quibbles over Boombox needing a table and the use of LCD for the display, they pale into insignificance. Battery life is decent with a 3000 mAh cell inside and full support for both Qi wireless charging and Qualcomm's Quick Charge 3.0 over USB Type-C. So as with audio, the G7 is all about giving you, the user, options and not tying you down to work in a certain way. LG's Android skin and application suite is a real curate's egg. As with Samsung's suite on the Galaxy phone, it's a matter of trying everything and then replacing the apps you don't like with Google's own. Nothing's too egregious, though the persistent phone safety notification saying "do not remove the battery" did start to annoy after a while. LG, remove the battery? Really? How? I can only think this is a glitch that LG will fix in an update. Talking of which, this is on July 2018 security, it's now October, so an update is surely overdue. But if you're okay with spending an hour customising your home screens, maybe even replacing your Android launcher and generally minimising the impact of LG's own apps, then the G7 Think is a top-notch contender for anyone who loves their imaging and loves their music.